All right, friends, Jason Perry here with iCast Prizes, and I'm doing a little experiment, so bear with me. This may be completely backwards. I'm going to try to pull up and see if it is. And what I'm doing, I got inspired because I've been holding back. I'm a serial procrastinator, and right now I'm using OBS without putting a stream key in and just using the YouTube Live feature. So just bear with me if it's completely backwards. Again, using the virtual camera on OBS, depending on where you're at, and I just noticed I should have shaved, but depending on where you're at, sometimes in Facebook it goes straight through. Different programs that go straight through. I know Discord, you have to get used to the fact that you're seeing it. What I'm seeing right now is backwards, and it may be backwards. So I may have to check on the settings and see what else I can come up with. Again, this isn't going to be anything spectacular. It's just old country playing around, experimenting, seeing what I can come up with, and seeing exactly what I need to do. So, I'm wanting to see what this works or how this works. And again, this is behind the scenes. This is real time. Me in here trying to see what is available, what can I see, and what the controls look like. So this is going to be a pitiful excuse, but at the same time, it's at least stepping out of my comfort zone, and it's seeing what it is that I've got available, and I will learn. I'll figure out. I mean, obviously there are some other softwares, EVMux, StreamYard, and different things that I may decide I need to use. But I'm also trying to look at it from a simplicity standpoint of what can I do and how can I do it without having to invest heavily in all of the other programs. And so, we're gonna give this a test to see what happens. Obviously, I'm using a green screen. And to be honest with you, I had no plans of doing a live today, but it is something I've been hanging out in other live streams, and I've been procrastinating. As I said, I'm a master procrastinator. So I need to figure out exactly how this is looking, and I'll turn this down because obviously, I've just pulled up on my phone. So right now, I'm just now logging in again. As I said, I wasn't planning on doing this, but I'm logging in and I'm seeing that there is, the screen is showing up correctly. So I'm going to play around for just a little bit here and see exactly what I can come up with. One of the things, I was on another live stream and I was listening in and seeing exactly what someone else was doing. And I noticed that there was a lot of issues with the software that they were trying to use. And, there was a lot of recommendations about using a green screen, about using OBS. And I discovered that it's definitely something that a lot of people are intimidated by. And I made up my mind, let's jump in here and see what it's like to be on the other side of the camera. Let's see what it's like to be on the other side of a live stream. And it is a little intimidating. I've been associated with an organization just here recently, which is uh, Open ExO. And the EXO methodology and mindset is creating an exponential organization so that things are not as linear in your perspective as many of us have been taught to deal with. And I'm not an eloquent speaker, so when I'm trying to get something like that out of my mouth, it doesn't always come off as easily. It doesn't roll off the tongue as smoothly as other people might be able to say. But one of the things, if you think about what is the difference between linear and exponential? So, in the past, I've been involved with some network marketing companies and direct marketing companies, and a lot of times they would talk about the difference in accepting, you know, do you accept $1 million or do you accept a penny today and double it every day for 30 days? And most people's mindset that hasn't got the education of exponential compounding is, well, I'd rather have the $1 million. But what they don't realize that they just gave up a few $1 million. And so when being introduced to the EXO community, one of the ways that it's been brought up, and I won't get it exactly right, this is old country's terms, but if the average person takes a step that's roughly 3 feet or a meter or yard, however you want to say that, if you take 30 linear steps, you're going to be 90 feet, 30 yards, 30 meters within, a few inches. And it's easy to judge what the halfway mark is. You can kind of guesstimate where is 30 yards, especially if you're a hunter or ball player or whatever. You can kind of figure out, if you take 30 steps, how far are you going to be on that football field? And then you put into perspective that if you take 30 exponential steps, which means that the first step, you're taking a 3-foot step, but it doubles. Then that doubles. And then that doubles. By the time you take 30 exponential steps, you have, and I'm not even going to try again. I don't have the math in front of me, but you're talking a few billion steps, a few billion feet, which actually calculates out to over 26 times walking around the earth. So there's a different mindset. And basically, what I've been exposed to is figuring out that we're not limited by our geographical location. We're not limited by the fact of maybe we don't have the verbal capacity that others do. And I judge myself a lot of times because I'm from Tennessee. I don't speak plain English. I speak kind of a broken dialect of some people just call it country, some people call it hillbilly. But the truth of the matter is, I'm not highly educated. I do have a high school degree, but I was not very active in participating in things such as grammar and English. So I don't speak proper English. I use the word ain't, I use the word y'all. And a lot of times that holds somebody back because they think, well, how's people gonna react to my personality? And one of the things that I've come to realize is, I need to quit worrying about what other people think, and I just need to take daily steps to improve. Next time before I go live, I'll remember to shave. I'll plan it a little better. I've been out working on a tractor, so obviously I've got some dirt on my shoulders. But the thing is, this is me. This is my lifestyle. This, my daily life includes more than just sitting at a computer. And one of the reasons I started iCast Enterprise is just so everybody kind of understands. Again, like I said, this is the first live stream that I've jumped on this channel to do. And, international creators achieving success originally because I teach blacksmithing and do other crafts, and I'm always around other crafty individuals. When we first set up iCast, it was international crafters achieving success together. I thought, well, I can go around and video and film and teach and help the community learn how to promote their crafting. But then I got exposed to live streaming, and it's taken me this long. I've sat in several classes and courses, and there again, you start watching some of these bigger named live streamers, and you start judging yourself. You're like, well, my camera's not as nice, my microphone's not as nice. And the thing that I'm discovering is, so what? Do the best you can do with what you have, learn and upgrade as you go. And so that's why I decided to jump on here. I kind of got challenged by an individual that was like, old country, you can keep making excuses or you can just do it. Now, I could have sat around for the next 2 or 3 days and said, well, let me make sure I've got this program going. Let me go check out this program and that program. And I've done mention a couple of them. The thing is, and I realized that for me to up my game, eventually I will need to settle in on a certain platform. There's one platform that, I'll be honest with you, it's a phenomenal platform, but Old Country does not own an Apple. I've got some apples in there and go eat, but I don't own an Apple product. I'm working right now what I'm streaming, and that's another reason I thought, well, let's just see, let's get rid of excuse-itis. Let's see if I can physically jump onto YouTube and pull off a live stream. And I am physically using a broken laptop that I cannot even see the screen on, and I've got it piped into 2 other screens. I've got 2 old TV screens. And to be perfectly honest with you, and I don't even know how well this mic's registering. I may end up seeing this, and if somebody does chime on here, they may say, hey, I couldn't hear a word you were saying. It's been working fine for other things, but I'm looking at the monitor here and I'm not seeing a huge register on the microphone. And so I may discover that, I've got to do some changing of my settings, but technically I am just using OBS Studios, or OBS, Open Broadcast Studio, and I'm piping straight in. I'm just using the feature of the webcam, but I'm using OBS as my virtual camera, and that's how I'm piping this in. And I should be able to change screens and do different things, but again, I'm not going to fool with that this time. I'm just wanting to come on here and experiment. I'll be able to go back and see how the audio quality was. I'll see how the video quality. I'm noticing, and to be honest, there's some people hates green screens, and I'm noticing it from time to time. If I move a certain way, you can start telling that I'm obviously in front of a green screen, but you can see it. And of course, I'm seeing a little bit of the green halo. But again, my thought process is, why worry about it? Do the best you can do. And what kind of got me started down this and made me decide to just jump on here again, if I'd looked in the mirror or if I'd looked on my camera and realized how woolly Old Country really is right now, I've noticed I've still got dust on my hat. Doesn't matter. Again, this is my daily life. I'm actually getting prepared to go out and run some equipment this afternoon. I may end up doing some blacksmithing. So there may be times that I jump on a live stream and I've got black streaks all over me or whatever. Ideally, maybe I'll get educated enough to look before I leap. But what really got me started on this is part of the group in the Discord channel for EXO. I've been very active in there, and we often get into Zoom presentations. And I've had 1 or 2 reach out to me that's like, how do you change your screens? How do you do this? How do you do that? And I will give you, just for those that are not used to this and don't even know what I'm talking about when I'm saying OBS. And this isn't the best example, but it's a start. It's something that will give you a demonstration and let you understand what it is I'm talking about. So as an example, I have a green screen set up right behind me. And the closer I get, you'll start seeing the green halo a little more, and that's because the light's reflecting off. One of the things that I see a lot of times, like in a Zoom, is someone will use the green screen feature or a chroma key feature, and it's really washed out. In other words, every time they move, you're seeing, just different things. If they've got a headset on, a lot of times you'll see through that headset and you're seeing what's in the background that they're trying to hide because they don't physically have a green screen. And so, or someone that is using a green screen, maybe they don't realize there's a window behind it and it's backlighting it, and there's getting a lot of washout and filtration through that. And basically what I'm trying to do is adjust my features. And again, like I said, I'm seeing things that's kind of driving me nutty, and you may realize it or you may not if I don't point it out. But as an example, by using OBS Studios, or OBS, I always say studios, it's Open Broadcast Studios, I can literally transition on the fly. And now I have another screen behind me. And again, it's still messing with me because here in YouTube with my monitor, and I've got to get another monitor set up, it's actually showing up backwards, which scares me. And it's like, well, okay. And to give you an example, one of the classes that I'm in, I was in the Discord the other day, and I had already been on Discord multiple times, and I noticed right here, as an example, this particular setting, I would have to go in and adjust just a little bit because you can start seeing some of the feedback through the screen. And on the fly, again, I'm just experimenting, but on the fly, I can come in and I can start making adjustments to where now you see if I'm adjusting for this, all of a sudden my hat starts kind of fading out and old Jason becomes kind of ghostly. But there's a lot more parameters that we can play around with. So I'll go ahead and let you see how I can pull that out and things start disappearing. So, it's something that you want to work with, tweak with the parameters and the settings a little bit. But and this is why some people don't like the green screens, because they feel like that, okay, if something shows through, it's not as professional, it doesn't look as good, et cetera, et cetera. And of course I see exactly, I can see what's going on there. So I'm going to swap back but while I'm here, iDressed, you may wonder, well, wait a minute, you've got iCast and you've got iDressed. Well, iCast is now officially International Creators Achieving Success Together. And the reason I set that up is I feel like that every individual on the face of this earth, I don't care who you are, where you're from, what color you are, what your background is, what your beliefs are, you're a unique human being that has goals, dreams, desires, and inspiration and aspirations, and you want to be able to put that out for people. And so my dream was to use iCast Enterprises, and I will start helping people decide how do you get out in front of people and make things work. But at the same time, in the last few weeks, since I've been introduced to the EXO community, I decided to pivot and go back to a dream of mine of launching a not-for-profit company, which is iDressed, and it's International Disaster Rescue and Search Team. And that's being able to use all of the technologies that are now available. A lot of people are scared to death about AI, artificial intelligence, all these other things. And they're like, well, it's going to be, doom and gloom. Well, folks, first and foremost, there's so much doom and gloom that gets promoted anyway. So I'm going to come back over here because that was bothering me. This one's not fading out quite as bad. And again, Old Country is going to have to figure it out. If I'm going to be going live on YouTube and other channels, then I need to get my screen to where it's lit the right way, and I'll be better prepared next time. But everybody worries about the technologies, but the thing is, there are some phenomenal technologies already available. And I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and they they made the comment. They said, "Oh, this technology, it's gonna cause this problem, that problem. It's probably going to end humanity. It's going to do this. It's going to do that." And I noticed, and I asked him. I said, "Do you ever holler at Siri or Alexa?" Well, yeah. Well, that's an AI technology. I said, "Do you watch Netflix?" Yeah, and I don't know who I can and can't say on here, and I'm not monetized, so I don't guess it matters. I'm not downing anybody, but I'm like, do you ever watch anything on Netflix? Well, sure. Well, you do realize when it recommends something, I said, that's an algorithm. That's a form of AI technology. We're on YouTube right now. How do you think they match? We don't all understand the algorithm. I definitely don't. But, how do you think they match whether or not you see this video someday? Now, granted, I don't expect a lot of people to see this one, but if you do, I've mentioned EXO, I've mentioned Netflix, I've mentioned, I'm sure there's AI technology involved, but I know there's AI technology involved. But the same individual, they were really down on technology. They were this, they were that. And of course, the only thing I could pop in my mind at the time, and of course, this isn't an ink pen, it's a Sharpie, but we'll pretend it's just an ink pen or it's a writing utensil. And if you go back in time, at one time, I don't care what your beliefs are, at one time there were no writing utensils. It was scratch on a piece of on the earth, or maybe they discovered, hey, the charcoal out of a fire, you can write on a cave wall. And then eventually they thought, well, you can use that to write on the skin of an animal. You could scratch into a tablet of clay. But eventually, that went on to pencils or pens, and now let's just fast forward. Here's a modern technology. Now, it's not a computer, it's not advanced technologies or artificial technology, but it's a modern technology. And the thing is, this is an inanimate object. The only way it does what it's designed to do is if someone makes it do it. And the thing about it is the almighty pen, and I can't quote, but the almighty pen has the ability. The pen has started wars, prevented wars, and stopped wars. And in the right hands, one of these pens can be deadly immediately. It can be used as a weapon. So it's the same thing in my mind with any of these technologies. They can be used for good, they can be used for bad. And the only way we're going to prevent the bad is to have more good people putting checks and balances and using them in the right way. And again, so this same individual, I asked them, I said, you're driving a very nice vehicle, and it just so happens to be a 22 model. And I said, we just took a trip up to Missouri to visit my sister, and we rented a van, and that van had all kinds of sensors on it. If you go to turn your turn signal on and there's somebody beside you, it'll beep at you and let you know you can't turn. It beeps and flashes. There's a neat little light on the side view mirror and everything. And then at the same time, if the feature's turned on, you can be driving, and if you veer across the line or start to, it will actually start fighting you and pull you back. Well, those are artificial intelligence. Those are advanced technologies that are saving lives. And I know there's a lot of people that are against, the autonomous vehicles, and they say that, it will cause people to die. I think there's already been one or two accidents. But at the same time, my thought process is, what are you comparing that to? If there will be accidents. Now, will it definitely be the autonomy that caused the problem, or is it humans interacting with it? And no, we're not just immediately going to have all autonomous vehicles and self-driven vehicles. So there's always going to be that interaction. And naturally, people's going to say, see, if they'd been a human at the wheel, that wouldn't have happened. But also, let's think about how many millions of people have been killed because someone, a human, made a bad decision. Maybe they were intoxicated. Maybe they were just distracted looking at text. Maybe they were upset, frustrated, or they had a medical condition that caused them to pass out. And it caused a catastrophic injury. Whereas, if nothing else, some of these modern technologies will hopefully be able to prevent that. I don't think you're going to have to worry about an AI being drunk. They're not going to be texting while they're driving. They're not going to be looking away. Cameras and sensors are fixed in their specific locations at all times. Now, sure, things can go wrong, and one of the other things that has really frustrated me here lately, and again, I told you I'm not the most educated. I don't have college degrees, and I believe in education. Everybody should be getting educated in any form, fashion that they can. But there's been 2 or 3 people just here in our local community that's mentioned to me that they're having serious meetings and the boards are meeting about whether or not to completely, I mean, just absolutely ban any type of AI technologies in the school. And we're talking grammar school up to high school. And I know there's already been cases in colleges. And my thought process is, here I am, just an old average country bumpkin that's using modern technology. Now, am I using it to its full advantage? No. But at the same time, if you really think about what the school systems were designed for, it is to take a student, a child, and educate them to the point that they can become an employee or maybe an entrepreneur, a business owner. But I dare say most schools do not teach that part of it. It was originally set up when the industrial age started kicking in. It was set up as, how do we teach people to become a good employee? And then you work for 40 years and you get you a little golden watch and you get you a pension and you live happily ever after. Well, I dare say those days are over, and they're coming to an abrupt end in ways that we never imagined. And so why would you even be considering taking away the tools and the technologies that the future generation are going to have to use? And that's one thing that I don't understand it all. And that's another reason I jumped on here today is, let's start using what we have at our disposal and get better at it and not worry about, okay, that's not perfect. I don't have the high quality equipment, et cetera, et cetera. And excuses be gone. And so that's another reason is, again, I watched somebody kind of holding back because they don't know how to use OBS. They don't know how to use this. They don't know how to use that. They are worried about their surroundings. They're worried about the quality of their computer. They're worried about the quality of their camera, their microphone. And so I want to let everybody understand right now. That's one of the series that I'd like to do, is to show people how, wherever you're at, you can at least start using this to your advantage. And I'll just let you realize, and I'm sure some people's going to be like, well, yeah, I could have told you that because you sound terrible. I could have told you that because you look terrible. I'm going to tell you what, yes, I'll shave next time, but this whole face ain't going to get much better. I was told years ago, jokingly, but probably, a little less of a joke than what I was hoping they had meant. But they said, you got a great face for radio. So, and I'm sure, and again, so, just being that way, I can automatically just make myself disappear. So, that's another advantage of using this. And actually, I'm going to pull out of studio mode. So when I do these changes, it happens, immediately. But if I jump back over to iCast, like I said, so since I've got a face for radio, I could be on here talking like so. But, I want to let you know, for those of you that are out there saying, well, I don't have $2,000 or $3,000 to set up my studio. I don't have this. I don't have that. Right now, I'm speaking to you, and it is grainy and it's not the best quality, but I'm speaking to you with a $22 microphone, and I'm talking in front of a $44 knockoff sports camera. And yes, some people's standards, they're like, yep, I'm out of here. This old country boy, you can't hardly, you can't hardly tell what's happening because his camera's grainy, and every once in a while his green screen's messing up, and his microphone sounds terrible. I was in a class one time, the first time I stepped up to the mic, the gentleman before me, you could tell he had a really nice setup. And when he stepped up to the mic, he was told, hey, whoa. Reach down on your stream deck or do this or do that and turn down your mic. You're coming in a little hot. Well, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I've got a loud voice and I've got I've got a bad microphone, so I can only imagine. Sure enough, I stepped up to the mic, and I don't care to tell you, it was Doc Rock. Anybody that doesn't know who Doc Rock is, look him up, because if you want to learn how to do live streaming the right way, don't judge the book by the cover, but go check out some of his information. But when I stepped up to the mic first time, he'd never heard my voice, and I opened my mouth. I got about 3 words out. I was like, well, howdy, folks. My name's, and he's like, whoa, stop. JP, stop, please. He said, and I was like, don't ask me to jump on this stream deck or this thing, because I don't have nothing like that. All I got is just a microphone. I don't even know how to turn it up or down. And he said, all right. He said, I don't know what system you're using. He said, but look around, and there's got to be some knobs or some buttons somewhere. And he said, the one that says country, turn it way down. So again, I was worried about the quality of the microphone, and it was more my speech. And the thing is, that's held me back in a lot of ways. But here's the thing that I've come to realize. And I, like I said, this is my first test run, so I'm sure I'll have to tweak some stuff and make sure it sounds a little better, looks a little better, whatever. But even using less than $100, and then I've got a Lenovo laptop that, like I said, you can't even see the screen. And I'm streaming live, and technically could be worldwide. It is worldwide. Now, I'm not going to lie to you right now, and that's another thing that people have a hard time with. I almost put this private, but I went ahead and went public, simply because I'm holding myself accountable, and I'm getting past that little fear factor. Next time I will be more prepared. But right now there's one viewer, and that's me. That's this little cell phone right here. I wanted to at least see if I was showing up. And so, there's a little bit of a lag. But the thing is, this little technology right here in our hand goes back to what we was talking about. That technology in our hands gives you the ability at any time, and I definitely faded out there, I've got some lag, but gives you the ability at any time to physically be in the presence of somebody on the other side of the earth. And I've experienced that a lot in the last 2 weeks. I mean, our biggest problem in the EXO community in the Discord channel is the fact that, we're talking to people in Germany, Africa, Iraq, Poland, France, you name it, any country. I guarantee you there's somebody in the community. And so you're sitting there, and a lot of times I'll forget to change my status, and I'll leave Discord open. And so somebody's pinging me and trying to get a conversation started with me, and it's 3 a.m. in the morning. Of course, this morning I was up and was communicating, but ideally that's the biggest downside, is remembering which time zone they're in. But you can literally have a conversation 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, anywhere in the world that somebody has access to one of these. Right now, I dare say the poor folks that end up having to see the individuals who are unfortunate enough to have to see this first version, more than likely a big percentage of them is going to be watching it on a cell phone. So at least on the cell phone, it's a smaller picture, and you don't have to worry about the quality of my camera so much. But folks, even if I turn all this stuff off, I have some things that I can teach the community, and it's not just blacksmithing. And like I said, one of the biggest dreams and ambitions that I have is focusing. I want to help individuals realize, and I will teach people, how do you use OBS? I'm not an expert at it. How do you use Canva? Matter of fact, I'm fixing to promote a channel that's what their focus is Canva. And I would much rather, sometimes you'll see me work in Canva. I will do live streams where I'll do a little bit of work, but rather than me try to teach you a drastic amount of using Canva, I'd much rather send you over to this other channel. And the same time with live streaming. You know, there's so many people, and I'll name them in the future. I'll start linking to them in the future, because again, you got Doc Rock, you got David Foster, you've got, you know, live streaming pros, you've got Nick Nimmin, D Nimmin, Daniel Batal. There's so many people out there, and again, not everybody wants to hear old country talk. Some people might listen to me for a minute or two just because they're like, dude, what language is this guy speaking? But let's be realistic. Not everybody is going to be excited about listening to old country bumpkin trying to explain stuff. And you know, I have pretty bad ADHD and I have some memory issues. So sometimes I'll have a blank moment and I'll be just like, I don't know where I was going with that. And so bear with me on that. But at the same time, I get it. Not everybody can relate to an old country bumpkin from Tennessee. So I may not be that person that's right for you to get your education for anything. Now, if you want to learn how to do some blacksmithing, I can point you in the right direction of that also. But, you know, there's so many different things that we can teach each other. And so I'm going to set it my mission here on this channel to teach how do you get started live streaming. And it starts with what I'm doing right now. Just push the button and get on here. Rattle off at the top of you, you know, just whatever comes to mind. And eventually, obviously, plan it out a little better and get better at just expressing yourself and discussing what it is that's on your mind. And so there's going to be a lot of stuff. I'll bounce from one subject to another. I tell people, you know, because of ADHD and just the way my mind works, a lot of times I'll take off chasing squirrels when I know I'm supposed to be rabbit hunting. And that's okay. But that's the reason I don't have a problem with promoting other people's channels. I will be gladly bringing people on, interviewing them and promoting their channels because, you know, like the ones that I mentioned, they're pouring their heart and soul in making people better. And I'm going to make it my mission to step up my game and show that next time I mention these individuals, they're not like, oh, Lord, if you're our voice or whatever, then we're in trouble because they're going to judge you or judge us by the quality that you put out. But the thing is, I know some of them, even though they'll want to kick me in some ways, they'll be proud that I at least stepped out and decided to push the button and go live. And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and step off here because we've got some things we need to do, you know, family wise. And again, this was completely unplanned. But I ask you to watch out for some announcements. I'm going to figure out what works with my schedule. It may take me a day or two to get things figured out because I've had an offer to maybe hit the road with an emergency crew. And therefore, that's going to lead me farther and closer to getting the experience with the International Disaster Rescue and Search Team. And, you know, I will be on this channel. I will be including that. I will be including this. I'll probably doing some IRL streams, which is basically going out on different locations, maybe while we're in the fire zones, different things. But, you know, there's going to be a whole plethora. I'll throw some blacksmithing on here, you know, and again, a lot of those that are educating people on how to set up a YouTube channel, they're going to want to pull their hair out because they're going to be like, "Oh, country, you're not listening." I won't have an end screen on some of my videos. I won't have cards on that. I won't have the prettiest thumbnails. A lot of times the thumbnail is just going to be something like this, and it's usually catching me in a weirdest position. I don't care. I'm not setting out to have the most successful YouTube channel on earth. I'm not setting out to even have, I probably will never have an astronomical YouTube channel. Doesn't matter. I've got other things in place that will help be my multiple streams of income. And again, for those of you that are worried about, well, you know, it's going to take an awful lot to get 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours so that I can get monetized. I'll let you in on a little secret. There's other ways. And I can tell you a few of them. Now, am I blowing it out of the water yet? Nope. I can promise you that. But there are other ways. As of right now, if I'm not mistaken, there's 12 subscribers on this channel, and unfortunately, probably 4 of them's family that don't even know how to get back to the channel. Might be 6 or 7 of them that felt sorry for me. But again, as I start getting on here and being a regular content creator, and I up my game and I bring on other people and see, old country's not real smart, but I realize one thing. I can make connections. I can invite somebody onto the channel that is a lot higher level on whatever skill set that someone's trying to learn. And just like the Canva and the live streaming, OBS, I'm not the best at OBS. I'm just learning it. But I can assure you that I can point you in the right direction of some people that's a lot farther ahead than I'll ever be. Now, enter artificial intelligence, AI. One of the things, and I will put a description below this one if I can figure all that out, but I'll give you an invite. One of the things that I would definitely invite you to do is to get a copy of or get on the community and read Exponential Organizations 2.0. And the amazing thing is it's now a book that they consider a live book that's going to keep being updated. And you can chat with Ray K, which is an artificial intelligence, chat bot that is based on the premise of all things exponential organization. And so I'll have that link below, and I invite you to go and grab that. I think we might just have a little bit more time for the fact that they've allowed it to be on sale for 99 cents. But you can also go in and interact with it. So I'll bring on more information about that later. But I can tell you, I joined the community back on the 6th of this month, and I have made connections all around the world. And I can assure you that some of those connections, I can already tell, will become lifetime friendships. And so a lot of people, a lot of times when somebody comes into the Discord channel, and if you would like that, by all means reach out. But a lot of times when they come into the Discord channel, I'll actually say, welcome to the community, welcome to the family. And somebody reached out and said, I really like the way you're calling us family. I said, well, technically we are. We're all family. We're just brothers and sisters from other mothers. But, put aside the differences, put aside the fact that, I'm just an old country bumpkin, and let's figure out what we can do as a community, as family, to help make the entire world a better place for the human race. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and let y'all off the hook. I'm going to jump off here. I appreciate those that do take the time to watch some of this. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and I hope that you'll hold my feet to the fire, and I will figure out a regular schedule to jump on here and do these live streams, and hopefully be more prepared and have a plan, and we'll have some conversations, and we'll go from there. With that being said, God bless everybody and have a great day.